Hello, I'm Tony, and welcome to the Tony Shap Show. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm super pumped to have Ty with us. He's an exceptional guy. I can't wait for you to learn about who he is, what he's all about, and where he's going. But with all that said, I just wanted to give you a big, warm welcome personally, Ty. So welcome to the Tony Shap Show, and say hello to everyone that's listening.
Hello, good morning. Thanks, Tony. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So thanks for coming on. I'm super excited. Let's dive right into it. So let's start off with the famous one-word open, Ty. So what's the one word you could use to describe how you're feeling in this moment?
Social.
Got it. All right. So let's talk about your business. Tell me how you got started, the story behind it, how you got all started, the idea, and then where you are and where you're going. So the audience that's listening to this or watching this on YouTube, they could be on the same page with us.
Awesome. Okay. It's a little personal. I hope that's all right. 7 years ago, I was involved in an accident and had a spinal cord injury at C3 in my neck, and found myself laying on a stretcher, immobilized in an emergency room in a smaller hospital near my home. And had a great doctor. The ER doctor had diagnosed what my issue was. It's called central cord syndrome. I'd compressed my neck in a sports injury and had a injury at that C3, C4 that did quite a bit of damage. I thought it was going to be a quadriplegic. So about that time, I'm laying on that backboard in the emergency room about a half an hour to 45 minutes after my injury. And the doctor says to me, your injury is too difficult. You need to go to a level 1 trauma center. I can send you north or I can send you south. I need you to make that decision. Here are the names of the spine surgeons that are on call in those 2 hospitals. You have 5 minutes to tell me which of those you want to go to. My wife had just gotten to the hospital at that point. We had to make a decision. She talked to a nurse. She called a friend. We chose one of the hospitals. We went there. I had a fusion in my neck, C3, C4, and I started a rehab process. I had to learn to walk again, learn to use my hands again. It was one of those life-changing moments that you just would never want to experience, although there's a lot of lessons that came out of it. So I have to say I had wonderful care from a lot of doctors and a lot of therapists. My recovery took about a year, in the hospital for about a month, inpatient rehab for a few weeks, outpatient rehab for about 8 months. And today, if you met me, you would, if you didn't know I'd been injured, you probably wouldn't be able to tell, which is so dramatically different from where I was when I was diagnosed. They told my wife, the prognosis, they told my wife was I probably would learn to walk again, but not well, and I would never use my hands again. So I feel like I'm a miracle, a medical miracle walking around. During that experience, I was frustrated with a few things. One of them was I kept having to make decisions about key providers of healthcare, key doctors, key therapists, facilities, and I didn't have the data. These medical groups provide great care, but they do not know how to share their data, tell their story in the way that modern medical consumers want to consume the data. And so I started out my business by trying to help a few of those people who had helped me recover. Help them understand how they can tell their story more efficiently online through listings and reputation and simple ads. Because today, most of those people still think, have a website, people find me on my website, I'll be just fine. They don't understand how we as consumers today want to find doctors and how we do find them. We do a search. We typically end up on a Google page, a Facebook page, a health grades page, and those listings are more important than the websites, and then ads layer on top of that. So I started SocialClimb really to help practices better tell their story in the market, even small practices. So that's my background on why we started the business 4 years ago. You asked me a few more questions there. Sorry, I forgot where we're going next.
No, thank you. That was a remarkable story. Thanks for sharing that with us. I know it's very personal, and I'm super grateful for you to share that with us, and I'm glad you recovered. That's crazy. So tell us where you are now with SocialClimb today.
Yeah, so we've been around for 4 years. We're about 25 people. And we bootstrapped our business until just last week when we actually took a funding round, an A round, from a great group out of Baltimore, Resolve Growth Capital. So we have about 5,000 doctors using us today. We're just scratching the surface on the opportunity there, and we're really excited about this opportunity to use the growth capital that we've done the deal on to really help us reach more independent practices who need to better understand and use tools to market themselves and grow ourselves into some of the smaller hospital spaces. So rural hospitals, critical care hospitals are also hospitals and settings that do not do a good job on their marketing that our platform can really help very efficiently.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that, because a lot of doctors that I speak to, they always say the same thing. Hey, Tony, I went to medical school, but they didn't teach me about marketing or business, right? So they're always looking for the outside help, and they come to me and they go, who do you recommend, and stuff like that. So, and that's definitely a need. So let's talk about a recent win. This, I think you just alluded to it a second ago, but what's a recent win that you've experienced in your business that you're proud of, that you want to share? Is it the one that you just got last week?
Yeah. I mean, getting to an A round with a great investment group. We went through quite a process there. We actually looked at a lot of different groups, found a group that really fit us well, and just excited to kind of have that as a milestone. It's really just the beginning, but it's a good milestone.
That's wonderful. Let's talk about failures too when it comes to business and business context. So I know we don't like to talk about failures, but sometimes you learn from them and you move on and you become bigger and better. So would you mind sharing with us at a high level a failure and what you learned from it that our listeners could walk away with some value?
Yeah. So a previous business that I started many years ago, we set out to build a platform, and we didn't focus on a particular market with a particular solution. We actually tried to build a platform that was very horizontal in its approach. And I learned from that in starting SocialClimb. That previous business, it wasn't a complete failure, but it did not really take off like I wanted. And I believe it was primarily due to lack of focus in the product and in the target audience that we were trying to sell our product to, which is why with SocialClimb, we flipped that on its head, and we've only focused on medical groups. In fact, we've primarily focused on independent practice managers in specialties related to surgery. So orthopedics is one of our biggest sweet spots. And I've found in building my software as a service businesses that when I focus on a very, very vertical portion of a market and understand that market very well and build software and services and a team around those needs, there's plenty of room in there for us to find success. And we do much better. And somebody might say, well, that market might not be wide enough. Truth is, solving one market leads to the next market and the next market. And as long as I keep my eye on that narrow vertical and solve those problems, I have a win that then can lead to future wins.
That's beautiful. You could have just saved some business owner right now listening to this $10,000 worth of consulting fees for a consultant to come in and give them that advisory, niche down. So I know when I'll be sharing this episode with people, and I'll say, hey, listen to Ty. He's going to tell you to niche down, and that's what you learn from, and that's why you're successful now with SocialClimb. So I appreciate that as well. So let's talk about your client acquisition process. So how do you typically, what's your best method of acquiring new clients that you consider high value?
It's tough during the COVID days, but the best thing is always personal interactions. Events are amazing, right? The replacement for events right now during the COVID times is associations. So if I ranked our customer acquisition processes in order, they would be, we've gotten the most of our customers, the majority of the customers we've been able to acquire through these processes come from events. Then the associations that drive those events have now gone virtual in many ways, and our membership in those and opportunities to interact with people during these kind of remote days that we're all living through has also brought in a lot of opportunities. So look, my sales team does a great job of calling into practices and getting people interested and getting them on the phone and getting deals closed. We're not failing that on that front. We're doing fine. But when we can go meet with people personally and develop relationships, the sales process is easier. The account opportunity is bigger. So relationships are a big part of what I believe is the best way to sell.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that with us. So for that practice manager listening to this, or the office manager, or the doctor, you know, if you could share with us your top three, just real quickly at a high level, like what's the top three ways you help them that, you know, maybe they don't know this now, or they haven't crossed that threshold at their practice, and they don't know. It's almost like we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's things that we know that we don't know, right? But if you could share with us that way, if they're listening, if that practice manager is listening to this, or that doctor is listening to this right now, and they go, okay, what does SocialClimb do, or how could they help me when I cross this bridge or threshold, or this comes my way? If you could share like just a quick top three, that would be great.
Yeah, awesome. Number one is your reputation matters, right? We all know that. We hear it. It's actually easily solvable. Our platform does it automatically. We integrate into the practice management system, so the practice has to do nothing different other than run their practice well. Then we extract the patient-doctor interactions on a daily basis and invite the right patients to leave feedback on the key sites: Google, Facebook, Health Grades, Vitals, just a few of those. So that process, if you're not doing that today, it's the least expensive, most effective marketing you can do. Don't go spend your money on enhancing your website and buying a bunch of ads for your website. Work on owning your listings. They're all free. Set them up. Our system will do it for you if you want. And then get your patients talking about you on those social media sites. That is the cheapest, most effective marketing you can do. But that's just the first step. Step two in our platform is identify the type of patients that you want. So we have predictive analytics. We have data on more than 240 million Americans. So this is a data set we've started building years ago. We add to it continuously, and we build models on top of that. So let me give an example. Say I'm an orthopedic surgeon in Las Vegas, and I want to do more hip replacements in my area. They can do it, and through our platform, you can just do a simple search. Tell me who is most likely to need a hip replacement in the Las Vegas area in the next 12 months, who has probably not already had one. Our platform will tell you who they are. We have a list. Well, it'll literally give you the names. It'll show you which zip codes have the highest concentrations of those. And then the third thing that it does is it lets you choose to promote that really strong reputation that you've built. You've gotten your patients to build for you. Promote that reputation to those zip codes where there's the most concentration of patients that need hip replacements, or send them ads on Facebook and Instagram automatically. So Google and Facebook ads are integrated into the platform, and they're simply a push of a button. So a doctor who works really hard every day doing a great job for patients, what they need is those patients to talk about them on social media, and then they need to push those great reputations to the next round of patients that they want to get. And that next round of patients may not be just the people who need a hip replacement. In some cases, it's a doctor saying, I want to do work on more patients for a certain procedure that I've just learned, or it's my specialty. Or I want more commercially insured patients. I want to change the mix of patients within my practice so I can change the profit margins on things. So those are the three things SocialClimb does: build the reputation, target the right patients, and deliver those ads so then we can bring in the right patient set.
Wow, thanks for sharing that with us. It's really powerful. When I was watching that video, I couldn't believe that quick short video you have on your homepage where it talks about how you're able to pinpoint someone that needs that specific need, when it comes to that surgery or medical need that they have. I don't think I've ever seen that before. And now that you explained it to the audience listening, they have a better understanding. So I'm going to be proud to say that I have Ty on my podcast, and he's the only, because no one else does that. That's really incredible.
It's
so
true. We're very early in doing this, and we're excited about how effective it's been for customers who are already using it.
It is. I can't wait to share with other physicians and practice managers as well. So with all that said, if you could share with our audience how they could connect with you and they could find out more, this is the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, so SocialClimb.com is our website, and you can always get me at tallen@socialclimb.com is my email address. Love to hear from people who are interested in learning more about how to better market their practices. And we have some pretty fun stuff online. We actually have a character called Dr. Mitch, who you can check out his videos. They're on our website. We have a YouTube channel for Dr. Mitch, and we also have a SocialClimb channel on YouTube that has some great educational videos on it as well.
Beautiful. Thanks for letting our listeners know how they can get a hold of you. So sadly, as we're at the end, let's wrap it up with the one word close, Ty.
Wow. One word after I said all those words. I would say thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, thanks for being on the show. The honor is all, the pleasure is all mine. And like I said in the beginning, I'm super honored to have you on here. And I can't wait to have you back on here in the future to see what new developments and W's you're putting on the board. And once again, have a wonderful weekend. And thanks for coming on to the Tony Shap Show.
Thank you, Tony.
And there you go. I hope you enjoyed it, and great to have you, and thanks for listening. And don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode. Till next time, onwards and upwards.